Hello, 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 collective. It's your girl, Jamila Newman, aka Mila. If you know, you know. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to start off and see what we have going on in the energy for this read. My daughter just played the song from American Tail somewhere out there. Someone's thinking of you. Anyway, the American Tail song, and it was always my favorite. So I'm wondering if that was, nothing is a coincidence. So the card that came out, we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, the Six of Pentacles, the Six of Wands, the King of Cups, the Five of Cups, and then followed by the Ace of Cups. So it looks like we're starting off with someone is no longer, getting their new beginning. They thought they were getting a new beginning. They had planted some sort of seeds, and it seems that they're not getting this new beginning. The Six of Pentacles talks about an even give and take kind of relationship, positive, nice, charitable. Okay. The Six of Wands is also talking about there's some sort of need to be seen. This energy needs to be seen. They're in the King of Cups, very much in their emotions. They're very much, they feel this sense of love, but they also have the Five of Cups. There's like a mixed emotions going on. So the Five of Cups is telling us that they're grieving. Their heart is broken because this new beginning. But there could be a possibility that there is a new connection. So maybe they were starting a new venture that didn't work out. They were being very ambitious. And what they were ambitious about and the seeds that they planted weren't as fruitful as they thought that they would be. They gave a lot of their energy, time and energy into this new endeavor. But their heart wasn't in the right place. What they were focused on was being seen. This King of Cups energy is being forced to see that they literally broke their own heart by sacrificing a new beginning. So they're in this point of grieving. It's a lot of grief going on. But there is still this Ace of Cups. It ends with an Ace of Cups. So let's see what's going on. There's a lot of mixed emotions with this energy. With this Ace of Pentacles, they had started a new beginning. They were very ambitious about it, and then they gave it up. They planted seeds, and then they gave it up for something else that was more materialistic and tangible. Okay? They thought that that was going to get them their happiness. But even though they were seen, and they were seen as being a very much so a badass, that people loved their work, the feelings that they received were not what they thought that they would be. So we got the Six of Swords here. It says that basically they're going to have to move on from the ideas that they used to have. They had this idea that success was better. Their ambition was more important than something. There's a Queen of Pentacles in reverse here. So there was a feminine energy that may have come off as being nurturing and caring and loving and wanting the best for them, and it turned out that they were not. That they had no future plans. Because the Two of Wands came in reverse. Also, the Strength is in the reverse. The Two of Pentacles is also in reverse. So whatever the decision that they made, they gave up on a new beginning, and they put all their eggs in one basket, sure that this was going to make them the success that they were hoping for. And they were in that limelight. People were seeing them, they were congratulating them. But in the long run, this person with such a loving, giving, caring heart is grieving a broken heart when it came to a connection. Okay. So now they see that they have to move forward. The connection with this friend, this Queen of Pentacles energy, a friend, a companion. I'm not getting a romantic sense. I'm seeing like a friendship, someone that they trusted probably with advice, was giving them advice on, you know, if you want to be, you know, serious about your business or serious about whatever prospers. I'm thinking this is like a business aspect. If you want to make the money, you're going to have to give things up, things that you built, you know, relationship possibilities. I'm feeling that there was like some sort of romantic interest that this King of Cups sacrificed in order to have material wealth, in order to have a gain in finances, status. Okay. And now they're grieving that connection. And then they also found out that the person that they trusted with, you know, this advice and giving them solid advice was intentionally misleading them, because they didn't have their best interest at heart. They didn't have any plans to be by their side through their hardships. They had no plans towards the future. They were actually weak, not strong. They were weak. And now they're unable to balance their finances. They're unable to balance their priorities. They're all over the place, as if, you remember in the beginning of this reading, there was ups and downs, and, you know, you have a new beginning. No, you're not having a new beginning, but you want to give and receive and have all this charitable stuff. You want to give and receive positivity on one end, but the seeds you had planted in the beginning, you gave up on it. Okay. So there was a lot of ups and downs, because this person seems this energy is very confused on how to move forward at this time when it comes to a relationship, because they feel as if this relationship that had a mutual attraction, that promised harmony, actually is no longer available to them. And therefore their Ten of Pentacles is in the reverse, collective. So it seems as if this energy sacrificed their Ten of Pentacles, thinking that they were sacrificing something to get a Ten of Pentacles. So now they're in the Five of Pentacles. They are in a lot of hardship right now. They're in a lot of hardship. And this is like the World card comes out. This is like the end of a cycle. A cycle is completed. What they thought that would wait for them is over. The Two of Swords in the reverse, because it's not a difficult decision. It is definitely cut and dry. What was given up, what was sacrificed for the success of a business, success of being seen in the limelight. Yeah. What they wanted was this Knight of Cups energy, right? This Knight of Cups energy. But this Knight of Cups energy comes with the Tower. Okay, based on the decisions that were made, they sacrificed and burned down this relationship. They destroyed what they thought wasn't their ultimate happiness, and only to find out that what they were looking for the whole time was actually the person that they gave up on. Their Ace of Pentacles was this person. All right. So let's get more into it. Let's see what the T cards have to say. Oh man, crying over you and reflecting, collective. They're not over you, collective. They're watching your post and pretending like everything's okay. But they're also reflecting on, is it too late? They regret never actually communicating with you, never expressing their feelings. Over a girl fight in reverse. So this feminine energy that was, you know, what they saw as a friend was actually a frenemy. This person was jealous. This person was advising this energy to do things because they knew that you were their Ace of Cups. They knew that you were their Ace of Pentacles. They knew you were their Ten of Pentacles. All those things. You were their love. You were their connection. You were their new beginning. You were their prosperity. And they knew that. And they didn't want this person to actually get this new beginning. What else? We had bad habits, but bad habits in reverse. What do we need to know about these bad habits in reverse? Bad habits in reverse. Okay, so they quite possibly told this energy, this Queen of Pentacles in reverse energy, told this energy that you had bad habits, that you were abusing drugs, that you were, you know, not actually a good person, that you were suffering from, you know, addictions, that you were, you know, maybe promiscuous, that you weren't a committed person, that they didn't see you as being the one. But they were actually being a copycat. They were watching you. They were stealing your ideas. They were duplicating your styles. They were wearing clothes that you like to wear. They were studying you to present themselves in a better light, while in the background talking about you to make you look bad and make it look like you were the one that wasn't the authentic person. They were, I have the kiss ass card. They were sucking up to this individual and saying all the right things to ensure them that they were on their side. But you, collective, you're too busy winning to pay attention to the nonsense. So the vibe, overall vibe, that they were a drama starter for this boss daddy energy, okay? That they wanted to stir the pot. They always wanted to be the person in the middle, the one that they went to. And they knew if the collective had entered into this boss daddy's life, that they would not be able to manipulate and get the things that they were actually getting out of this boss daddy energy. What else do we need to know? Ooh. Stalker card. So it's like they were watching you so intently. They were studying you. They were obsessing over how to take you out of this shining, like this boss daddy energy really thought highly of you. So they needed to find as much information as they could to try to cut you down. And they're still watching you. And these cards came in sideways. And okay. So they may have had an unofficial kind of relationship, obsessed lover. They're clingy, controlling, can't let go. Very much so in their karmic energy, living in the chaos. So then we had in your head, and it was in the sideways, and then moving in silence. So this tells me that they're thinking about how how they got to where they got to. How did they make it to this point? How did they judge things so poorly? And they're also trying to contemplate on whether or not they are going to come to the collective and talk to them and acknowledge and apologize on their poor behavior. Okay? Explain the circumstances and situations. So what we have here, collective, is a masculine energy. At first, we had the King of Cups, but that could actually be a masculine or a feminine, but it could be either way for you. Take what resonates and leave the rest. But what we have is a masculine energy that gave up their new beginning, their new start, which was a relationship with the collective, in order to gain some material, financial, business step up. Okay. And in doing so, they received the success. They did get the success. They were in the limelight. They were being praised, but they did not get the feeling inside that they thought that they would get when they received this praise. Okay. All they still felt was that hole, this emptiness. Okay. Like this hole. They felt emptiness, grieving, brokenhearted because of this new connection, this new love connection. This new love connection is a possibility. It is not anything that's concrete because everybody has free will. Okay. So now this masculine energy is aware that this feminine energy that they once had some sort of, friends with benefits kind of relationship was actually intentionally driving a wedge between this person's feelings for this new connection and them, intentionally doing so in order to sabotage. But this energy also has to take accountability, and they're currently seeing that they have to take accountability for the fact that they were so willing to give up on something based on someone else's feelings. So now they're feeling this sense of guilt, and they're reflecting on this poor judgment, but they're also seeing who they thought was a friend as for who they truly are. And they were seeing the patterns of copying and how this person all of a sudden changed how they dressed, changed how they talked, changed how they wore their hair in order to, bring more of a light onto them and less of a light off of you. But you are in this energy of too busy winning, collective. So at this time, there is someone out there that knows that you were the wish fulfillment, that you were the 10 of Pentacles, that you were the whole 9 yards, and that they made a poor decision. And by making this poor decision, they also directed a feminine energy into your relationship, whether they knew they were doing it willingly or not. And this feminine energy is currently still obsessed with this masculine energy, and they are currently still stalking you online. If you guys live closely, they're actually lurking around. They're obsessed. Okay. So final words. What do you need to know? Final words. What does the collective need to know? We're going to do the mushroom card. You need to focus on you. It's what am I doing for others today? This is, now you know what's going on, but right now this is something that someone else has to deal with on their own. I will never define your reality. So you also need to focus on yourself and what you are putting out, what energy you are putting out into the universe. How are you uplifting others? And you'll never be able to define that person's reality. You can only define yours. So focus on yourself. All right. Until next time, keep shining. Shine so bright you piss everyone off. Catch you later.